I've had a great idea. Can't stand that year because next year is going to be even more crap than this year, is my opinion. I'm going around the bend.
But luckily, it doesn't show.
No, it doesn't show. Gee, I'll tell you what. I woke up this morning, which is always a damn good start. And two things, right? I've been talking to Ebony, the mini schnauzer, forgetting she's away on a play date. Not even here. In my head, she's here, right? That shows the first thing. And the second thing, I'd had my first massive double espresso, and I'm just banging it down, right? And I realized that all the pressure and all the stress and everything, it was a dream. No, joking aside, I was having these huge dreams, and I realized none of it was true. I was standing in the kitchen going, "You're a moron." It was so convincing because I woke up with this whole list of stuff that I had to do, and it was all a dream. It was when I was back in doing all my corporate work. It's extraordinary, isn't it? It was so realistic. The briefings I was getting, the people I was meeting, the schedules that I had to keep. None of it was real.
So the most realistic dream I had recently, it was proper creepy, because I actually believe that it was akin to being unconscious. Hear me out. Here's what happened. I was utterly knackered after one particular sort of very, very, very trying day. So woke up the next morning, or tried to wake up the next morning. But in the middle of attempting to wake up, all I could hear is, I remember being in the supermarket. I don't know what supermarket it was, it doesn't really matter, but I was at the checkout.
Was it Kosher Kingdom?
I'm not sure. But all I know is I was surrounded by a load of mobile phones, or either mobile phones. No, they were mobile phones, and all of the mobile phones kept going off. They're going off with an alarm sound. But I couldn't quite work out which mobile phone was going off, desperately trying to shut these blooming things up. Just it's really big time, frantically doing this. Anyway, turned out that after about what seemed like an eternity of this going off, when I eventually woke up to the same sound of beep, 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 it was actually my alarm clock going off continuously for what must have been about 10 minutes, because I just didn't wake up. And yet these alarm clocks were going off around me. But it must have been sort of an unconscious mind picking up on the sound, but I wasn't waking up for it. So I think that was akin to being unconscious.
Wow, that's a thing, isn't it? That's a thing. Martin Allen loves the background. This oh, you've changed it slightly. That looks gorgeous. That's really good. Well done, you. That's really nice. Hi, Martin Allen. Thank you, baked potato. Morning, gentlemen. On holiday this week, so I can watch you.
Hooray! Where are you?
Where is she? She's in Monte Carlo. She's gone down there. Ed Grossman, are you, Ed? Let us know, please, that you're definitely out of hospital. Happy Monday, all. Happy Monday. Let us know you're out of hospital. Bad news about Paul Claridge. He's not up a ladder.
Oh,
things were going so well too.
But he was on one on Saturday, and we weren't on air on Saturday. So let's just say that's his ladder allowance.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Hey, ask me what I did yesterday.
Russ, what did you do yesterday?
Oh, don't ask. So yesterday I spent most of it again in a van. in the van again.
It to be some sort of removal cap or something.
I don't know what it is. It was all I could do not to buy a copy of The Sun and chocolate, wind the window down, and go, "All right, darling," the whole day. It sort of puts you into another complete mindset. I really like driving vans. It's a weird thing. I really like it. Oh, she's not in the south. I thought she was in Monte Carlo. Turns out she's in West Hendon. Twinned with Monte Carlo. So close, Andrea. So close.
Problems with the waterworks today. She says, "Hi fellas, I have a British gas engineer and plumbing department over here because my loo siphon has broken, so it won't flush. Thankfully, we have a few loos in our house."
I'll tell you what, when we go and see her, which we will when this madness is over, I am not having, if she says, "Would you like a vodka and tonic or a splash with that?" with the single malt, I'm not going near it. She goes near a siphon, I'm not touching it.
Would you like a drop of Harpic with that?
Yeah, thank you. Would you like a Domestos chaser? I can see it happening. I can see it. I bet Sue Cressman has this really elegant sort of either a cocktail cabinet or a drinks trolley and it's all illuminated and glass and shiny. And next to the Auchentoshan, and for you, it would be, what would it be? What would it be? Something very peaty. And there'd be a Domestos, and she'd say, I'll just do a little topper for you. I'm not doing it. I'm not going there. Again, good news, Fred Grossman. Good news. He's at home. Thanks, everyone. That's great news. Because I know Lloyd Beanie.
We're all going to Sue's hotel.
Yeah, I think we should have a men's radio station outing and just fill it with everybody. Can you imagine that? How cool would that be?
That's right there. MRS OB. That's
an
out.
MRS OB. For those who don't know what that means, it means means outside broadcast. It's not a clothing sign from TK Maxx. You know, after XXL, you got OB for obese. Just thought of that. Right. So the van driving.
Oh yes, that.
Dad. Yeah. Oh, I found a really great desk. Found it on Gumtree. Couldn't give me a hand. I have a tiny little car for the city because I don't go anywhere, right? So it ain't gonna fit, right? So I hire another van. Right? Oh, I get. Oh, if you got a van, I don't suppose you could pick up. Suddenly, I'm DHL, right? So I go from South London to where did I go? Right into the heart of Chelsea. Picked up this desk, marvelous, right? Chelsea down to City Airport, down to lockups. Know what I mean? Picked up God knows how much stuff. Oh, are you? Because it went like, you know what kids are. Are you using your office chair? No, I'm not using the office chair. I'm never going to use the office chair. Oh, well, that would be really fine. I have the office chair. So that was that. Now we've got the desk. We've got the office chair. Oh, if you're down there, could you pick up some more chair? Because I need. Fine. So now the van's loaded up. Go from there. They're back to South London, right? From there. And then, I haven't got any cutlery. I said, what have you been? Remember I told you last week? I said, how many? You got crockery, right?
He said he had one set.
I got a plate.
Oh, one plate.
You live well, for Christ's sake. So, right? Crockery, plates. I'm not using it, right? What the hell? And frankly, Ebony's table manners. She's not using a knife and fork anymore. She's gone quite feral. So, and then from there, where did I drag to? I don't know, like near Brick Lane. Or I can't remember where the hell I went. And then eventually drove the thing back. And I was knackered. And I just lay on the settee. Boom, I was gone. What a day. I like driving the van. They're really pretty. They're pretty easy. Have you ever driven a van, Phil?
I have to confess that I have yet to drive a van. It's one of those items in my life on my to-do list, but hopefully not anytime soon.
Well, they're great. They're way better than they used to be. They're not noisy. They don't sound like diesels anymore. They're great. And you hire it by the hour. Right? So I hired it all day because I knew how long this was going to freaking take. And the only thing is, of course, you look in the rear view mirror and what do you see, Phil?
A police car.
No, you can't see anything because, of course, all the protection is behind you. So there's a wall behind the seats. You've got 3 seats. There's a wall because you don't want all the stuff in the van coming forwards. They were technically called splitter vans because you're split between.
Then I thought it was standard that when you're out and about on the road that the police are always following you.
Oh, usually. Sue Cressman's come back. You can read this.
Thanks. Sue Cressman says, you have a drinks cabinet at the hotel and home. Total, and it's not the type of siphons. That's gone in my loo. Good Lord. I'm at home, not at Nailcoat, so you're all quite safe.
Oh, I figured she lived at Nailcoat as well.
I thought you did as well, Sue.
We didn't get the right. We didn't get the thing. Oh, Sue Cressman says, Russ, tell the listeners about your song based on the Shirley Bassey. Well, very briefly, because I ain't going to sing it. Shirley Bassey's celebrating 70 years in showbiz, and she is quite a character. So there's a fabulous new photo of her to celebrate this thing, wearing a sensational dress. She looks absolutely fantastic. Shimmering gold evening dress with a matching shimmering gold face mask. I thought it was hilarious. And she looks sensational. So I then wrote 2 tunes, which one was what was it? Mask Finger.
Oh,
So
a gold figure.
no. I got Mask. What did I say?
Mask Singer.
No, I forgot it. No, anyway, so it was all about Goldfinger instead of it was Mask Finger, and then and then one of Bucks Fizz, Fizz as it's known now, said challenge you to do another one. So I did Face Masks Are Forever. And people seem to like it. It was very silly, but people seem to like it. Ed Grossman. All right, let's get into some serious business because this is this is affecting our mental health. Congestion zone. They're expanding it to the North and South Circular. The mayor is blaming Boris. This mayor, well, I'm not allowed to be well, do what we like, really, but swear to God, what the hell is going on? Like we're not angry, like we're not stressed. What is this with these roads?
He was trying to extend the congestion charge. I knew he was trying to expand the ultra low emission zone, but I didn't know he was trying to expand congestion charge.
Does he hate London? Does he just want to bring London to its knees, like it's already on its knees? Does he just want to kill it? He wants to give it a coup de grace. When you can't get an ambulance or a fire engine, through a road because some moron has made the road too narrow. What the hell are they doing? Why is there no accountability? This is why people are angry. No accountability at all. Some faceless twerp sitting in a council office or a TfL office, and they just do they ever drive? Is it a plan? I don't think they drive. This is what I think. I think it's some lycra-clad twat on his bicycle. Yesterday in the van, some cyclist, I'm nowhere near him. I'm really careful. He starts screaming. So I drive up the road a little bit, and he's screaming again. I tailgated him. Screw him.
I had a little bit of a run-in with the cyclist the other day.
Screw him.
It was quite fun, actually. What happened is that as I was driving up to a set of traffic lights, running parallel was this bike lane, but it was a very narrow one. It wasn't like bus lanes, the wide ones. It was like a very thin cycle path, a bit like him, really. Anyway, it was. What happened is that we got up to the traffic lights, and just before the traffic lights, there was some building work which jutted out into the cycle lane. So he had to go into the road in front of my car, and it didn't look. So I
roof up or roof down? Just checking.
Roof up because it wasn't a convertible car. Anyway, as I approached the traffic lights and he sort of came out in front of me, I hooted him as if to say, look out, look where you're going. Stopped at the traffic lights.
Here we go. Wait for it.
In front of my car, effing and blinding. What do you want me to do? What do you expect me to do? Effing
that
and
was aggressive. Do that again. That was good.
Properly aggressive. But except
that's the real Phil. That's the real Phil.
No, not. Excuse me. It was him, not me.
No, I know.
Probably not.
I know.
Anyway, he was like, "What do you want me to do? What do you want me to do about it?" I'm really, really getting properly grumpy about it. Anyway, so I wound down my window and I said, "How about looking before you move? You." Well, I won't say.
Did you just go? Because that's not that effective. I'm going to be honest with you, Phil.
I can't deny my language was a little more colourful, but it wasn't necessarily radio friendly. So I was reflective about the words I chose to express my feelings towards him. But let's just say that I exchanged names with him, not because we had an accident, just because we called each other names.
Did you doubt the veracity of his parents' wedding certificate?
Well, not quite, actually. It was more to do with his geographical location, because I'm fairly sure from his accent that he was from beyond the Watford Gap. So I'm fairly sure I referred to him as something outside of London. But anyway, so that was primarily what touched me the most. And it was more the attitude, because
they own the world. They run the planet.
Yeah, but if I hadn't have stopped, or if I hadn't have seen him, I would have smacked right into him and he would have gone over, no doubt about it.
All your fault, and we never heard the bloody end of it. My favourite was one day we came out we were in Old Compton Street and came out of an evening, came out Soho Whiskey Club on Old Compton Street. Old Compton Street is a one-way street. Okay, one-way street in the middle of Soho. So I'm looking to make sure the traffic isn't coming because obviously there's mini cabs and all that sort of stuff. And I step out, and coming the wrong way is a cyclist.
Excellent work.
Who then screams at me, "Oi, look where you're going." He's cycling the wrong way up a one-way street, and this tosser screams at me, "Oi, look where you're going." I was with somebody very nice, and I thought I was with some friends, and I was on the urge. It's very rare that I do that. I was going to run up the street. I really was going to run up the street and kick him off his bike. I'll be quite frank with you. I just we exchanged pleasantries, but this is the incredible arrogance of it all. Ed Grossman's point is very good. If you don't live in London, you'll be thinking, I couldn't give a monkey's. But if you do, when you're working, it'll mean, says Ed Grossman, excuse me, you have to pay £27.50, £27.50 just to live in London and own a car a day. £27.50 a day. Oh my God, I hate him. I hate that Larry. Guess where Larry Viner is?
I am going to say I can see it begins with an A.
This is incredible. This is Mystic Phil. This is incredible, ladies and gentlemen. Is it coming through? What are you seeing? What are you seeing? What are you seeing?
Asda.
Desperately close. Antigua.
Oh.
Yeah. Are you sure you're ready to leave all media and just become a psychic? Are you absolutely sure this is a good move?
Well, it's only based on being called something. Well, actually, I say being called a psychic. I was called something similar.
Right. Yeah. Mr. Larry Viner is one of my best pals. Sneaked off to Antigua with the current Mrs. Viner, Larry, Amber late. And I tell you what, and to see, they've never seen their grandson because of this crap madness. So they went off to see their beautiful, beautiful baby grandson called Hendrix, and to meet up with their son Dylan, because Dylan lives in New York. Oh, he's back in London. I wonder what the aroma was. Anyway, he's back. He's back. But they were lovely, lovely photos. And I have to say, in all seriousness, you just think, this isn't a life. I don't mean Larry's life. I mean our life. Our life is just, this isn't a life. This is just nonsense. Psychic or sidekick. I may have misheard. I don't know.
Let's go with sidekick.
So he's back in London. Lovely pictures of people smiling and being together as a family. Yeah, wow. What are they doing? Sue Cressman, my car will be an electric or hybrid too, but don't bother with the hybrid, Sue. Just get the hybrid.
Can I just point out?
They'll clamp down on that. They'll clamp down on it.
Double check, and I have looked at this. Not according to the TfL website, it's not congestion charge that's expanding. It's the ULEZ, which is what I thought. So that is the ultra low emission zone. So it does not apply to every single car. It applies to certain vehicles over a certain age that do not meet emission standard. So don't worry, you're not going to be charged automatically for driving in London. The ULEZ charge, or ultra low emission zone charge, is £12.50 per day, but it is only to certain vehicles. So you do not have to pay congestion charge within the North and South Circular.
Here's the whole thing about electric vehicles. Now, apparently, my cousin, to my utter amazement, has got an electric car suddenly. But then she only potters around little bits of North London, doesn't really go anywhere. So that's okay. No. Ed Gross was just Ed. Phone up. Let's get this sorted out. 0203 290 4411. Ed, come on, phone up. Let's sort this out. That's the best thing to do. Now, someone's saying, was it Sue saying, I'm going to get an electric car or a hybrid? Don't bother with the hybrid because they'll clamp down on that like they did with the Prius. Then they'll change it to, if it's a plug-in, if it's a physical plug-in hybrid, you're exempt. Then they'll stop that. So just get electric. And then, of course, they'll stop that because I wouldn't trust any of these people further than I could spit. But here's the thing. These prices are insane. So my little car, they've just brought out an electric version of my little, it's not a Mini, by the way, my little kind of car for the city which I bought outright because it was a little tiny thing to buy. The electric version, I would have to, if I got $5,000 for my car, if I got $5,000, which I wouldn't, but say I got $5,000, it's only 4 or 5 years old now, got it from new, I'd have to find another 15 to 20 grand to replace it. That's a lot of petrol. I don't go anywhere. Why would I bother? Why would I buy it? Why would I suddenly have to find 15 to 20,000 pounds to replace exactly the same car I've got? It's madness. That's 20 years of petrol for me. Easy. Ed has changed my mind. I'm going for a Tesla. Oh, Tesla's fantastic. Yeah, I love Teslas. You've got to have the range. I'm sorry, I can talk about this for hours. I love Teslas. Build quality, not as fabulous as you think it might be. But, he's calling. It's Ed Grossman on the line. It's very good. 1 minute he's in hospital, the next minute he's on the line. I like this. This is life. This is life.
Yeah.
Phil will be dealing with this.
No, I'm actually just reading another article which actually suggests that Ed is right. So actually, you don't really know who to believe.
So you see, this is the thing. You live in the countryside. There's no point in having an electric car. What's the point of having an electric car? And I wouldn't bother with that. You need a 4x4. Well.
Russell,
what? Go on.
He's live on the line now. Hello, Ed.
Edward.
There you are. Ed, I've just read another article, which I do apologise, you're quite right, does say that there are plans to extend possibly the congestion charge to the North and South Circular. So I had seen that about ULEZ, not congestion charge. Apologies.
That's okay. What it means is I have a car which is not ULEZ compliant. It's a Toyota, which will last forever.
Yeah.
I never need to change it for the rest of my life, even if I live to be 100.
Right.
Well, that's going to cost £12.50 a day from October the 26th, 2021. The congestion charge, if extended to the North and South Circular, will be £15. Hence, £27.50 to keep my car outside my house. And the talk is that residents will not get a discount.
Hang on, I'm confused. Ed, I'm confused. I thought, they charge you every day if it's in the zone, even if you live there and you're not driving it?
That's the ULEZ. I take one at a time. The two things are different.
Yes,
They're similar, but they're not quite identical.
Right.
The ULEZ charge is already in existence for the area covered by the congestion charge.
Yes.
Right. So if I today want to drive into central London, I have to pay £15 plus £12.50 ULEZ charge. That's today,
Yes.
£27.50. Now, from October of next year, they are expanding the ULEZ zone to the whole of the North and South Circular. And residents in that area would not get a discount. And it's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. So that alone means I have to pay £12.50 a day to keep my car outside my house or on my driveway or in a garage. The next stage is what they've announced over the weekend, which is that the mayor is considering expanding the congestion charge itself to the whole of London, that's the North and South Circular, which is another £15 a day. And apparently, it's not about congestion; it's about raising money.
Always was. It was all Ed. It was only ever about the money. They've done it under the smoke screen from when Livingston brought in the congestion charge in the first place. It's only about money. It's only ever been a tax, ever, and you won't move me on that point.
Absolutely, couldn't agree more. That's it.
Let me tell you something. How crooked they're all crooks. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, they all lie through their teeth. But here's the thing. Ramsey, hang on a minute. Hang on, Ed. So many Londoners drive big 4x4s. They don't, Ramsey. They can afford to run one. I don't have any sympathy for Chelsea tractor owners in central London. Why is it you're not allowed? Ramsey, you and I usually agree. But Ed, hang on. Where do you stand on this? Why is it if you've earned the money, you can buy what the hell you want. You can buy what shoes you want. Whatever you want to do. It's up to you. I don't like this prescriptive government at all. Any of it.
Well,
any of it.
If 4x4s, may I add to it? If 4x4s are the problem many people make them up to be, then target 4x4s. Well, I have a small four-wheel drive car. I don't have a big tractor. So Target goes with the big tractor.
Let me tell you something. When I was a million years ago, the Flying Eye, I don't even think Phil knows this. They were going to introduce the congestion charge, and when they introduced the congestion charge, they said, "See, look how much better the traffic is flowing in London."
Yeah.
Let me tell you, no, and it did briefly. Do you know why? In the weeks following the congestion charge introduction, when it first came in, do you know why London's traffic was flowing better? Because in the build-up to the congestion charge, they rephased the traffic lights. They put in roadworks everywhere deliberately, and then, as if by magic, they introduced the congestion charge, and the moment they did that, the lights were rephased back to their correct setting, and miraculously again, the roadworks disappeared. It was all a scam. How do I know that? Because the people at the time when I was doing the Flying Eye on Capital Radio, the people at TFL and the people who did all that work told me. Not some nonsense, tin hat conspiracy. It was true. Complete con.
Russ, may I finish my bit of the call? Sorry, I want you to finish it out. Thank you. Russ, may I finish my part of the call?
Of course.
I have a bit of a conspiracy theory. A little bit of a conspiracy theory of my own, which is I believe that the government are putting up the mayor for a huge fall because they'll blame the mayor for introducing this. And when it comes to the election, the mayor election in I think April of next year, they will slam in. Everybody will slam in. Everything will be his fault, which is probably mainly true, and he will fall at that election. That's my conspiracy theory being said that. And good, I'm delighted.
I think he's doing. You could argue he's doing his best to set himself up there.
Oh yeah.
He's not helping.
So I'll ring off and let you get on with the show. Thank you for having me.
Oh, bless you. And I'm so pleased you're out of hospital. Everybody is pleased you're out of hospital, and stay well. That's the main thing. Stay well.
So am I. Today is the first day I started to feel remotely human. So I can turn out and have this conversation. But
onwards and upwards, and keep your recovery coming.
Thank you, Emma, for being so kind to me. It's more than appreciated.
Thank you. Thank you for being one of our listeners. Appreciate it. You know why we're talking about this? Because you can see that it causes so much stress. And stress, as every expert that we've ever had on MRS or Women's Radio Station as well, would tell you that stress leads to depression. They're inexorably linked. So it's not a political show. I won't do that. We're not going to have politics here because they drive us mad. You can get that anywhere else you like. But it's these things that they bite into your life and they just creep along. And the stress and the anger that it causes I think, is palpable. I really honestly do think that. Chrissy Holt, who lives in Spain, as we know, that you should live here. Don't have any of that. My car tax is €40. Blimey, right, that's good.
Nice thought.
Ken Elm, could you read Ken Elm's post? Because I don't understand this.
Okay, the London congestion charge is a drag, but you do get the excitement of the possibility of being hijacked, mugged, stabbed, or even shot.
Yeah,
I'm sure that that's not necessarily the way we describe it, but yeah, I suppose that is true, that there is an element of that.
Well, yeah, because if you're so busy ruining roads and putting in flower pots, law and order seems to sink down the list. Shall we put in a flower pot here so that an ambulance and police car can't get through, let alone a fire engine? Oh, yeah, we must do that. Let's spend time. How does that relate to law and order, making you feel safe? Dave hey, yeah.
Someone's come say.
Oh, I can't even do that. All right, well, I'll do this visually, but I can't. Look, this is the best I can. Hang on.
The doorstop is actually, there is actually a block at the bottom of the stairs to stop them from coming up. Ha ha. But for some reason,
that's going to happen, right? I am ridiculous. I have so many clothes with schnauzers. Madness. Sue Cressman, this is very pleasant. Is that Monty or Carlo? I can never tell. I think that's Monty.
This one is Carlo.
I knew that.
He says that he had a 50-50 chance of getting right.
And I screwed up.
He says that I also want to thank you for listening to me when I had a very stressful day on Friday. I won't let this make me ill with my previous health issues.
Yeah.
Not good to have too much stress. And believe me, I have enough.
Absolutely right. You know, and Sue won't mind me saying this, but stress, it's not just that it makes you feel depressed and everything. These things, they do lots of studies that stress can lead to all sorts of horrible, serious illnesses. You know, my late mum used to have an expression, it doesn't go to you, when you have problems, as you say, well, it doesn't go to your boots. In other words, it manifests itself. And the worst way it manifests itself is you drop of a heart attack or it causes cancer. Stress is a killer. No two ways about it. And I just wonder why everyone is so cruel and ghastly, and the stress levels are off the scale. This is what it's all about. This is what I'm talking, you know, Phil and I love that dog, by the way. It's just great.
Thank you.
Hey.
Right. We had some unfortunate news about him the other day with where he went in for his little MOT, as it were, and they've discovered he has got a bit of a heart murmur. So speaking of stress, we've got to try and keep his stress to a minimum wherever we can. But he's a very stressy dog. So
it's interesting. Ebony was born with a heart murmur. Ebony's my mini schnauzer, the only person on the planet who doesn't know that. And she's heading up for 12 now, but she was born with the heart murmur. So every time you go to the vet, you have to say, no, her heart's fine. She was born that way. She is the Lady Gaga of schnauzers. So Friday, I went in for Ebony's operation. Talk about stress. And I was getting in I'd had a beautiful birthday. Out of the blue, I wasn't expecting it to be lovely. I hate my birthday. And it was just the loveliest day. It was just gorgeous. Everything about it could not have been better. If you said to me, Russell, could you redo it? I wouldn't change a thing. It was just perfect. It was low-key and lovely, and that's what I like. And Friday, I was really worried taking Ebony in for this operation. She's got a tumor, or a mass, as they call it, underneath, not in, by the way, underneath her eye. So that's not good. So, you know, another grand. But anyway, so I go in, and I have to say the vets, they're very good. They're very professional, and they're very caring. And I'm thinking, this is my little feeling. I'm not medical, you know, but Phil, she's nearly 12, and they said, well, you know, she's now officially, wait for this, geriatric.
Yeah.
Geriatric. Oh my goodness, what they must think of me. And I thought, my little baby, she's geriatric. Christ, I'm going to have to find an old age home for her soon. And put her in Cunmore, Sarah Cohen. Anyway, so go visit. God forbid. Never going through that again. And
they just going to show
16 years of that with my mom. I don't need that ever again.
Got to be very careful what is said on this program, because you see, the reason why the dogs are a bit distressed is because clearly my folks have gone out. I've got a rough idea. I know where they've gone. However,
they didn't give you a note?
I assume that because they've gone out, that naturally they're not listening to this program at the moment, which is why I thought I could mention what I mentioned about Carlo. And oh dear, I have a message just come up. Phil, you didn't tell me that about me. Well, the main reason I didn't. Right, Hips. The main reason I didn't tell you is
just
I
genius.
Get very, very unhappy about it and very worried.
If this show is a microcosm of life.
But the God's honest truth, as everyone here is my witness, the vet also said nothing to worry about at this stage, just something to keep an eye on, which is why I didn't mention it, because I didn't want you to worry.
You are going to get such a mouthful later. She's going to come in. She's going to give you a begrub of the begrubs. Now then, here's the thing. So I'm sitting there, and of course the vet, they're masked up, I'm masked up. You got to sit bloody miles away and all this, but it's fine. I get that. It's great. And good message from Lloyd Beanie. He's okay. Fine. I always like to check with my pals. So I said, is this operation really necessary? Because a general anesthetic, when the dog is geriatric, It's a very big deal. And of course, she had a huge operation illness earlier in the year. And we decided to cancel the op and have a watching brief. So I'm going back in a month's time. They've taken measurements and they've done all that stuff. And I thought, you know what? I don't want to put her through it. I just don't. And she's on a play date. She's happy as anything. Very good point from Dave Sleet. Philip.
Yes, it is. Sorry, hang on. Apologies. Right, we must remind ourselves that we as humans are emotional, psychological, and physical beings. It goes on to say, the balance of all three elements equal our well-being.
This is true.
Russ, perhaps the show should be called Loose Men, says Ed Grossman.
Actually, he said lose men. Lose men. Yeah, we know. Chrissy Richards says, no, I don't understand. If you're pregnant, come on, grammar. Stop it, Chrissy. We have standards. If you're pregnant, you're geriatric at 25 years old. Can't be right.
Chrissy Richards says, Amber, our horse, had a heart murmur, but didn't stop her going like hell. We did long distance riding and her heart rate was always low, fit as a flea. If you're pregnant, you are geriatric at 25. Maybe that's the horse.
Did you have a look at the horse? It can't be the horse. The horses go. I know nothing about horses, apart from my dad lost most of the money on them. Ed Grossman, Elon Musk announced he would bring out a small Tesla for about 20K. Oh, yeah. That's better, but it's not a 4x4. But it may be able to go into space just like Musk. I don't know if he's a genius or I think he's a genius. I think he's weird, but he's a genius. He's a weird guy, but he's a genius. How many satellites has Elon Musk launched?
Funnily enough, I haven't counted them, but I'm not entirely sure.
Hazard a guess. How many's got in orbit at the moment? At the moment, how many?
He's probably got maybe about, I don't know, 50.
30,000.
Wow. He's got quite a few satellites.
30,000 satellites. This is like a James Bond thing, isn't it? If you're going to freak out. The objective is to get 60,000 satellites. Now, these aren't the big thing. I'm not talking about an individual rocket launch because that would be bonkers, right? These split up and they're small. But at the moment, the Earth is being orbited by. It's a fact. It's not. You can look it up. 30,000.
I need to deal with the dog.
What's the matter? He's got. What is going on now? Do you know? Of all the people I could have chosen, of all the people, right? Fridays he buggers off because it's bread day, so he disappears to show off his holler. Except when it failed, and we wanted to see the failure. The bitch is back. I said it. When I last saw you, Marty, I thought you were pregnant, dear. I said it. I'm not speaking to you, Timmy. You cost me, you and Pedro cost me a roast chicken dinner. So as far as I'm concerned, your history. You and that ex-broadcaster friend of yours. Dog needs to go wee-wee. How do you know that, Andrea? How the hell do you know? How the hell do you know? Oh, God almighty. I have no idea. Phil is in a little world of his own. If it's not the bread, it's the dogs. Anyway, I'll be honest with you. Oh, you're back. Thank you. You found time to drop in for a broadcast. That's kind.
Excuse me. I had to. I told you I've got to keep the stress to a minimum, so I had to put the dog downstairs.
You had to put the dog
downstairs.
Yeah. Oh, thank God! Because for a minute there, I thought you're looking a little bit chipper for something that's brutal. If you're going to break the news to your mother, that's probably not the way to do it.
I mean, you say it's probably best over men's radio.
And then jump in your car and drive away. Switch your phone off for a few days. That was what I'd do. Hey, Mum, bad news.
I'm just going to switch to roving Phil now. That's
as you hide out in Costco. I once went to Costco. Right? No munchies today.
No munchies today.
All of us except Russ, of course, love to watch you eat. Yeah, it's a real freaking joy, isn't it? I was once in Costco in the days when I'd go to Costco because I was not a million miles from there. And they have the biggest trolleys and the huge trolleys. They're like trucks, right? If you've been to Costco, you know what I'm talking. They're like a flatbed truck, but a trolley. It's not like a supermarket trolley. It's just bloody enormous, right? So I'm in the queue, piled up with the usual crap that you buy. You go in for some toilet rolls, you spend like 100. You think, I'll just get that TV while I'm here. Ooh, that radio looks nice. Oh, I've got those jeans. Oh, that sweater's nice. And you think, what the hell am I doing? I've come in from some toilet rolls. I look behind me, and there's a couple, and they've got the trolley in the queue. What have they got on it, right? The huge trolley, and you know the Costco trolley. They got a pannet of raspberries. What the hell? Instead of just carrying the pannet of raspberries, they're standing in the queue pushing this huge trolley, which has only got and they were serious. It wasn't like a postmodern ironic gag. You know, it wasn't some joke. They were really a very serious couple. It was hilarious. Oh dear. Oh, this is a horrible mental image. I can only apologize, everybody. Timmy Alexis Carrington Ward. I said it, silly bitch. By the way, I always listen to you while bathing. Oh, God. And you keep me right entertained. You really are both a lovely listen. I am not reading the rest of that, you dirty swine. And wash behind your ears, quite frankly. Is it? Phil's probably now on the phone to Costco. He's probably on the phone to Costco taking an order. He's probably taking an order. Now, Ramsey. Yeah, I know we got loads of. I'm talking about the big satellites. I'm talking about the Elon Musk satellites, which split up, and there's 30,000 of those in space. It's amazing. You're quite right with you. Who was on the phone? Dare I ask? Was it your mother?
No. Chrissy Richards says, "Telling on you, Phil. He's on the phone. My grammar is good. You did not read my comment correctly."
Shh, let's go back.
Oh dear. Ben Monroe pops in. Hello.
Oh, yeah, it'll be a dog thing. What did you do with it? You let the dog out? Have you not got a dog flap or whatever it is?
No, I just put the dog downstairs. You know, on the ground floor. I'm upstairs.
Why? Why couldn't the dog stay with you?
Have done
because it shouldn't have been upstairs.
No.
Are they verboten upstairs?
Broke through the barrier. We have a barrier at the bottom of the stairs, and he broke through the barrier to get up.
So he really is like the Steve McQueen in The Great Escape on the bike and went over the barrier.
Yes, he's like the canine equivalent of Houdini. I mean, mind you, to be more fair, with the amount
I was
going to say, with the amount he defecates, it's more Houdini, to be honest. But yeah, absolutely, he is. Yeah, he should be downstairs. He decided to come upstairs. Not good.
Hey, my martini pals turned up. Alexander Lichtenfeld, come on, look, it's like 1:45-ish. It's not too early for a martini, Alex. Come on, because you always say it's too early. Well, it's not 1:45's martini time, isn't it? Phil?
It could be. I don't see why not.
Yeah, there you go. Thanks. Problem solved.
I'd be tempted to have a little whiskey after this show. I probably won't. Save it a couple.
I've got things to do. I gotta go rushing around, and then it's my fitness training. Yeah. Woofdini. Woofdini. I like that. Hi guys, says Susley, all the way up in Fife via Staples Corner and Bromley.
Yep.
We like that. Oh, Christ. This is Spanish news just in. Caught my Kiki.
Kiki eating a manky dead rabbit this morning. Yuck.
Oh,
crumbs.
What was it doing in the fridge?
Imagine cuddling that at night, could you?
What, the dog? No. I'm not
a dead rabbit.
No, absolutely
that
not.
would be an amazing trick if your child was really ill behaved and you'd had a blazing row with them. Just imagine you got like a 9-year-old or something like that.
Don't go. I know what you're going to say. Don't say anymore. That is disgusting, even for you. Well, if you don't behave, you've got to sleep with the dead rabbit or anything else from Ann Summers. Anyway, moving on.
No, I wasn't going to say you have to sleep with it. I was just going to say give it to them wrapped up as a present.
Yeah, but people always think I'm the vile one. It's you. Yeah, well, you got your little cheeky, youthful grin. Everyone goes, "Oh, isn't he sweet?" He's a complete bastard. Right, Alexander Listenfeld. Oh, this is she introduced. I'd never been, and everyone said, "Never been." I said, "No." There's a hotel in central London called Duke's. It is terrific. And it's got a bar, and you have to book for this bar. And Alex, it feels like 5 years ago, probably last year. Must have been maybe last year. And we had a meeting. We met some people who were going to come onto Alex's show and get involved with men's radio, and it was very nice. And then I met Mr. her dad, Jimmy, who's just amazing man, charming fella. Can't remember when I last caught my kiki in anything.
Now, there's an image for you.
You see, ladies, I gotta share something with you about mental health, right? You've got an advantage over guys because you will never get your willy caught in your zip. And trust me, as a guy, you would only do that the once because it is diabolical. Oh my God. You know, probably that's why a lot of people use Levi 501s because they're button fly. Avoids a lot of problems.
I mean,
a pal of mine got it so stuck.
ladies and gentlemen, you're watching the kindergarten now.
Yeah, it's a good. I'm thinking about him because he made me laugh, and he had to go to A&E. He couldn't stand up. Oh God!
I mean, you wonder why you Radio 4. It's not really a wonder, really.
Oh Christ! He couldn't stand up. He was bent over like Quasimodo. And the worse it was, the fun. It was just terrible. I mean, it was awful. It was hysterical. Anyway, there we go.
That it does sort of remind me of the time when I did hear once about this when I was working in the newsroom, and I heard about the time where there's this chap who apparently had wound up in A&E, and rumor had it that he'd end up in A&E with a fork in his head. The reason why.
What?
Oh no! I beg your pardon. No, it wasn't him. Sorry, it wasn't him who had a fork in the head. That was it. Right. Sorry, hang on a sec. Bear with me here. He ended up in A&E.
Yeah.
With half his end away, if you catch my drift, bitten off, as in like in a frozen bag of peas. Hang on, hear me out. In a bag of frozen peas. His other half, she ended up in A&E with a fork sticking out of her head, and apparently, the reason why. I've got to keep a straight face here.
Can you imagine? She walks in and the nurse goes, what seems to be the problem? And even then you'd have to say, have a wild guess.
What appears to be the problem?
Stick it on your head.
Anyway, but apparently the reason why she had this fork in her head is because she had decided to how can I put it in a radio friendly capacity? She had decided to give her other half a thrill. Okay. Whilst at the dinner,
like a pizza or make dinner.
Not quite. Whilst at the dinner table.
Okay. At the dinner table?
At the dinner table.
One thing at a time. I like to concentrate on my food.
Apparently, he started getting pains in his chest and couldn't breathe. So the only way that he apparently could get her attention was to grab the nearest thing and hit her with it. And it just so happened the nearest thing while he was in the middle of sort of clutching his chest was a fork. So he jabbed that into her head, completely and utterly not realizing that he'd stabbed her because he was just going a bit doolally as a result of it. And the sheer shock of what had happened is she bit his end off. So the reason why he ended up with a bag of frozen peas is apparently he had half of himself in there while she was sort of with a fork in her head. But
I'll tell you what, that was the last time they were allowed into the ivy.
Well, quite. So anyway, yeah. It's all, you've always got to think to yourself, there's always somebody worse off than yourself, I think.
So he went with half his willy in a bag of frozen peas.
Apparently.
Frozen. Did he go back to Tesco and go, I want to complain about these peas? Look what I found.
You misunderstood frozen peas.
Yeah. Completely stupid. It's completely stupid. Sen, you got a whole foot. The trouble is that real life it can be much more brutal, but it can also be way funnier than any movie. And Sen just says he's going to put it into one of his new films, and you can do, and no one would believe it. That's the thing. Oh God, no one would believe it. So Alex is on a train. Alexander Lichtenfeld, one of our lovely presenters, and a great presenter on men's radio with her business program, and she's on a train and she's chuckling away watching us, which is a miracle, and she's smelling pot on a train. Come on. I expect it every time I walk the dog, I come back high as a kite, because the whole of South London is just one big skunk works. It's unbelievable. It's fair to say you've digressed somewhat. Do you know what? We have digressed, but everything's so miserable. Just occasionally. It's why I listen to a lot of rock music when I'm walking around, because it cheers me up. It just cheers me up. It's just funny.
Someone else is having a giggle.
Phantom. Crazy name, crazy gal.
Does he Phantom know Yoda or something?
Is what?
Does he Phantom know Yoda or something? Is that what that was?
No, it's just a creepy voice. It's just the Phantom. That's what I do.
Maybe it's because I can't go that low. You see, that it bothers me. I'm not used to it.
When they drop, you'll be able to. There we go. Andrea Luca. Andrea Lucas, I'm glad we've managed to achieve, because the thing is, the show is like life, isn't it? 1 minute Phil and I are sitting there, then after the show we go, geez, that was tragic story, or wow, that poor sausage, or that was a grueling interview, because it's very emotionally draining. I don't mean it any other way. And then sometimes it's just good to have Russ doing his Welsh again. One day, Mr. Monroe, when we have the time, you're going to come on and tell the story of your dad, because that was just one of the greatest anecdotes ever. I just thought it was absolutely, absolutely hilarious. Sen's dad had a kebab shop. No, seriously, you couldn't get more stereotypical if you tried. And he had a kebab shop. That's all I'm going to say, because it would absolutely ruin the anecdote when Sen was a little boy. I was crying. Told us one day, and I was crying. You were there, Phil, weren't you?
It was pretty fun.
I think it was in the Whiskey Club. We were just.
No, I tell you what I think it was. I think it was just after lockdown began, and I think we were doing the first Zoom session, Whiskey Club.
Was it a Zoom? Was it a Zoom? Oh,
fairly sure it was over Zoom.
It was yeah. It probably was. It was the best. Bye. She's going underground. Oh, and Alex Lichtenfeld is now joining the Jam. She's alongside with the mod father. Oh dear, glad my toilet's fixed. Well, thank goodness for that. I'm not naming who this is. Right. Yesterday.
Good news, everybody. Sue Cressman can now laugh to her content.
Because the loose fix. Right. So yesterday, somebody, I'm mentioning no names, thought there was a leak under the sink in the kitchen, between the underside of the sink, the cupboard where you keep the domestos and all the bleach and everything, you know what you do with the pipes and everything, and the dishwasher, right? So this somebody had put a bowl under the U of the U-bend of the plastic pipes to catch any water. Turns out it wasn't a bowl. Turns out it was a mini colander.
How did that work out?
It was a mini. So, this mystery person put this bowl there to catch the water, not realizing it was a mini colander. Oh God, it's fantastic. You couldn't make it up. It just. That really was it. Oh my goodness me. So there we are. We've had a few laughs. We've had a few jokes. We've heard from Ed, and what is? Oh yes. Oh the Thursday show. Chrissy Richards. Chrissy Hemp. Chrissy Richards is referring to the new show. We're up to episode 4 now with the fantastic Oliver Mammon, who is a force of nature. He's the most extraordinary guy. He's just great. I mean, I rarely say that, but we were so thrilled that we, managed. It took months to organize. I mean, months and months and stuff. But he had a guest on. And if you haven't seen this, it's called, we call it the ABC of CBD. It's all about CBD oils and all the extra. He's the most knowledgeable guy. And you'd think, how are you going to do a whole show? Well, we've got weeks of this show. And people seem to be absolutely loving it. The viewing figures are fantastic. We got more in 3 days than Ollie said he'd had in 12 months. And he's as happy as anything. Say that again?
More than you and I have ever got.
His viewing figures went through the roof. They're just great. If you haven't seen it, it's called the ABC of CBD, and Ollie had this guest on, so I just got to mediate the whole thing. And this guest it's quite extraordinary. When you grow hemp, and this is I didn't know. The whole thing's a complete education for me because I have CBD oil. That's it. I'm not exactly Scarface Al Pacino, and so when you grow it, you can't. The analogy is this, right? Say you grow mint in your garden, right? You can grow the mint in your garden. That's completely legal. I'm using this as an analogy. But if you plucked the mint, brought it into your home, and made mint tea, that would be, if it was hemp, illegal. So you can grow it with a license, but you can't use it. So Ollie has to buy the products from abroad. Isn't that mad? Isn't that absolute madness? And it's all legal. It's nothing nefarious. They're not sitting, some dark South London street with a BMW, the windows up. It's not that at all. But this is the law. You can't use various extracts. It's the most extraordinary thing, isn't it? It's a weird law. But there we are. It's a great show. You can catch it up anytime you like. You can catch it up. It's called the ABC of CBD with Ollie Mammon on Men's Radio. 6 o'clock, fully live. Hey, and the other thing, of course, that Phil knows, but you may not, Ollie has Tourette's. What could possibly go wrong in a fully live radio show, which is broadcast and can be seen when you've got Tourette's? Okay. You can buy hemp seeds. Yes, you can buy hemp seeds, etc. The law is a complete mess on it, but it's extraordinary because Ollie's paying 50,000-60,000 pounds worth at a time for products for the oils, and you can't use a British farmer. Go figure that. Go figure. You can't use a British farmer. It's completely bonkers. And it's not EU regulation. It is the Home Office regulation. So there we are. Ed Grossman, well, if you're happy, I know, Phil, would you like to read this? Because I think it just sums up what we're about.
What a lovely show today. Lifted my spirits and others too. Thank you, Ed. Pleasure.
Yeah, well, it's absolutely our pleasure. And if we've done that, in all seriousness, it's been worth it. Sometimes we're very silly and sometimes we're very serious. Who the heck knows? It is what it is. It's life. Now then,
that's what people say.
That's live. David Lee Roth does a version of that. It's the most unexpected thing. In the middle of a heavy rock album, he suddenly does a version of Sinatra's That's Life, and he does it very well too. Anyway, we digress. Give us an update very quickly on what you're going to be doing today, Phil.
Really, this is what we now do until the end of the program?
No, it's not. I'm just curious how you're going to spend the rest of your day. I'm just curious because I know what I'm going to do, and it's tedious.
Okay. Right. Well, let's try and summarize it for you. I have 3 computer clients I need to help out this afternoon, so I've got to shoehorn somehow. I've got to make sure tomorrow's program is all finished and set up and ensure that the running order is typed up accordingly, along with all the preparation work that goes with that. I also need to make sure that I list my iPad and MacBook Air that I'm now selling because they're old and I need to replace them. So I've got to put that out there.
How old's your MacBook Air? Because I might buy it.
The MacBook Air is quite old. It's about a 2012 model, so it's about 8 years old. I don't think I'd sell it to anyone I know because I think it would be a bit old, a bit dodgy. So I've got to get rid of those 2. And then I've got to do some other bits and pieces as well, including, let's see, I've got my little to-do list here, actually. I've got to type I've got a meeting as well at 3 o'clock. I've got to type up documents as well. And then I have to chase a couple of invoices. Oh, and I also need to make sure that another program I work on is set up and complete. Other than that, I've got nothing.
I'm going to the pharmacist to pick up my prescriptions. That's it.
Nice.
What a crap life. It's just rubbish. It's just absolute rubbish. But we make the most of it. Thank you so much for being such good sports, everybody, all over the world, because I know you listen everywhere. Thank you so much from Phil and I. Thank you for putting up with our nonsenses. Without you, we don't have a show. So have a lovely day. Look after yourselves. Stay safe. Stay well.